Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 909. Isn't that a song? 909. For the 8th of March. Is that a song? 8th of March, 2026. Richard Saunders coming to you from Sydney, Australia. Now, you've heard about the skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet. Well, at the moment, Sydney has the humidity angel from hell. I think it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the plants are growing very well. But it's the sort of humidity when you step out of the shower and you dry yourself, you're still wet. Eesh. I hope it's not humid where you are around the world. Coming up on this week's show, we're going to bring you the latest nomination for the Australian Skeptics Bench Spoon Award for 2026. This is an outfit, a business in Perth, Western Australia, who use a ridiculous machine called the Metatron. The Metatron from Russia, which, well, the claim is that if you put on a pair of things looking like a pair of headphones, somehow this machine via these headphones can scan your body using quantum frequencies or quantum energy or some such nonsense and diagnose and treat you. It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, we see a lot of just gobsmackingly stupid things in the alt-med woo world, but this one surely takes the cake. The Metatron device. For more details, we're going to be examining this nomination coming up at the top of the show. And don't forget, if you'd like to nominate somebody here in Australia for the Bench Spoon Award, a person, a business, a product maybe, then it's still time to get your nominations in. In fact, we got a few months, but more about that later. Following that, it's Woo Watch with Kate Thomas. And I travelled to Kate's studio, which is across the harbour from where I live, on the other side of Sydney Harbour. Her wonderful, beautiful studios with a view. And Kate and I use her new studio equipment to talk about stretching. Do you stretch? I've been told to stretch. You know, after you do exercise, you must stretch, or before stretching is a good thing. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does anybody stretch too much? Find out with Kate Thomas. Then a special report from Sydney Skeptics in the pub. Just the other night, we had a skeptical trivia night. What a lot of fun. What a lot of fun. Lots of laughs, lots of fun. I'm going to play some clips from the night, a few questions to test your trivial knowledge. And really, I think that the whole object of me playing this is to give you an idea of just the pure fun we've had at Skeptics in the pub. Just silly fun, lots of people meeting new friends. It's really great. And I want to thank the listeners of the Skeptic Zone who turned up and greeted me and said how much they enjoy the show. Thank you very much. I was a little bit worn out after the presenting the trivia, but I did appreciate it. And I even managed to bend a couple of spoons. So a bit later on in the show, Skeptics in the pub. And that includes a tribute to Ian Bryce, the challenge coordinator from Australian Skeptics, who has just retired after 40-plus years of service to the organisation. Then to round off the show in the Trove segment, we're going to be looking at chakras. How are your chakras? According to the alt-med woo brigade, they're normally blocked or something, or they're normally out of balance. You know, the other day I took the car in to the garage and they balanced the wheels. Maybe they can balance the chakras at the same time. I don't know. Find out more about chakras and balancing and I don't know what coming up in the Trove segment. Now, we will mention this later on in the show, I think, but don't forget, of course, Noticon, the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe rogues and special guests like Dr. Karl Kruzlniski will be in Sydney in July, 23rd to the 25th of July. Look, head for skepticzone.tv, scroll down there on the right of the page. You'll see a picture of Michelle Biggersma and you can listen to her logical fallacies, which are great. You'll see a picture of Kate Thomas, and you can listen to her podcast On the Moans. And then you'll see a picture for Noticon plus Skepticon 42. And of course, that's where we will be presenting things like the Bent Spoon Award. Join us in the middle of the year here in Sydney, downtown Sydney. Really looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun. But now it's time for me to run downstairs and drink water. Well, there's lots of water in the atmosphere while I do that. I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. Here in the studio with me, and you'll have to take my word for it. There is a cat. Oh yes, there is a cat. Henrietta has come up. I wonder if you can hear her purring. Yes, she's come to make sure I get this segment right. Also in the studio here I have, which you can't see, but trust me on this one, folks, a bent spoon. Oh yes, I bend many spoons. In fact, at Skeptics in the pub just gone, I was bending some spoons. And the reason I'm mentioning bent spoons is because there is a new nomination at the Australian Skeptics website, skeptics.com.au, for this year's Bent Spoon Award, awarded to the perpetrator of the most preposterous piece of paranormal or pseudoscientific piffle. Before we get into the details of that Bent Spoon Award, let me give you a little overview about devices known as bioresonance devices. Bioresonance devices or machines claim to detect and correct imbalances in the body's electromagnetic frequencies, but from a skeptical perspective, they sit on very shaky scientific ground. The core idea is that cells and organs emit measurable frequencies, and that illness reflects distorted patterns that can be harmonized using the machine or machines. These days, they are devices mainly sold to naturopaths. Now, the concept of these bioresonance machines can be traced back to a fellow by the name of Royal Raymond Rife in the 1920s. His work was met with strong scientific resistance and never gained clinical acceptance. Rife claimed to have built optical microscopes capable of magnifications far beyond what physics allows for light-based instruments. His most advanced model was said to reach 30,000 times magnification, far beyond the give or take 2,500 theoretical limit for optical microscopes. These microscopes reportedly allowed him to observe living microorganisms that conventional microscopes could not see. Although admired by some contemporaries, his designs were never reproduced or validated. And indeed today, even today, you can find on the internet, in fact I saw some on Facebook the other day, people advertising Rife machines. I think there's one out there called the Spooky 2. Now, Rife died in 1971 and was largely forgotten by mainstream science. However, his ideas were revived in the late part of the 20th century by alternative medicine practitioners who built Rife machines, loosely based on his concepts. Although modern devices marketed under his name vary widely and often bear little resemblance to his original equipment, but nevertheless they work just as well. Through the 20th century, various alternative medicine practitioners expanded on the idea, often invoking misunderstood references to Tesla or Einstein, people like that, to give these devices some sort of moniker of being legitimate science. Now, the appeal of these machines is that they're marketed towards people who have a hesitancy when it comes to mainstream medicine, and people like naturopaths who don't have the scientific understanding to know that they're, frankly, bunk. These machines lack measurable signals. No independent research has demonstrated that organs emit unique, clinically useful electromagnetic signatures or vibrations. There's no proven mechanism for these machines to work. The idea that a machine can correct cellular frequencies has no basis in biophysics. They rely on anecdotes and testimonials, and it can't be understated that the people who sell them also rely on the fact that people like naturopaths do not have a well-grounded understanding of these matters when it comes to the scientific aspect. As Benham said, probably Benham, there's one born every minute. And that brings us to the Bent Spoon nomination. So the latest nomination at the Australian Skeptics website here is for Vivacious Living Centre, Perth, Western Australia. And this has been nominated by various people, not just one. Vivacious Living Centre of Perth, Western Australia, bills itself as, quote, a multi-modality health and wellness centre, end quote, offering such services as crystal healing, Reiki, acupressure, reflexology, and talking to the dead. All these services are worthy of a Bent Spoon nomination. However, it is the claims to diagnose and treat bodily conditions via a device known as the Metatron NLS, nonlinear system, a device from Russia, that is the focus of this nomination. The Metatron has been used at the Vivacious Living Centre for around 6 years and is one of a range of so-called bioresonance machines long since regarded as quackery. The Therapeutics Goods Administration, TGA, has taken strong action against these devices in the past. The Metatron relies on a computer program that displays anatomical images of organs, etc., and what appears to be images of various pathogens and parasites infecting the heart or the liver or the kidneys, for example, together with animations of charts and scanning in progress. This information is claimed to be gathered via frequencies through something resembling a set of headphones worn by the client. Some of the absurd claims made for this device are: it is more accurate than any blood test. It tunes into any disturbances of the harmonic synchronization in the body. What? It is used by NASA to check the health of returning astronauts. It will show you what allergies you have. It can show parasites, viruses, or bacteria in the body and recalibrate them. It can send frequencies into the heart. It gives you a comprehensive list of what you can and can't eat. While the machine and process appear to be harmless in themselves, the real danger comes from clients thinking that they have had a real medical scan, diagnosis and treatment. This could delay real medical diagnosis of early cancers and other serious conditions. And on the page here, there is a link to the main page at the business speaking about the Metatron, but there are many, many examples on social media, TikTok, for example, of those claims being made. And what I'd like to do now is play one of those TikTok videos.
If you don't believe in frequency healing, then keep scrolling. But if you do, what I wanted to talk to you about today is the difference between quantum technology and Newtonian science, to put it that way. So the Metatron bioresonance scan system here is Russian technology, and it's quantum based. So quantum means it studies 100% of the universe. That means it's energy, frequency, vibration, absolutely everything. So it's holistic. And all your natural therapies and all that kind of thing, holistic therapies are going to be based in quantum because we're dealing with energy, frequency, vibration. So the current medical model is based in Newtonian science, so as of Sir Isaac Newton. And that only covers 4% of the universe because it only goes to a physical level, okay? So that is the main difference here. So you've got quantum, which is holistic and whole 100%, and Newtonian, which is limited, it's only 4%. So if you're interested to find out more...
Now, I don't know for sure, of course, but I would strongly suspect that she believes everything she has been told by the people who sold her this device. And that people like her, people running wellness centres and what have you, are the real target for their marketing. the Metatron non-linear system, and the Vivacious Living Centre of Perth, Western Australia, nominees for the 2026 Australian Skeptics Bent Spoon Award.
Hi everyone, this is Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. That's the YouTube channel where we discuss and analyze in great depth all those people who say that they can speak to the dead, all those readings, how they look like they're actually communicating with people. Why do people fall for this? There's a reason. It's much more complicated than you would think. Come to my channel, watch our videos. We would love to have you become part of our conversation. Just visit us on YouTube at Psychics Explained or Psychic Sex Planed on YouTube.
With all the weird, wacky woo that's worth watching, it's Woo Watch with Kate Thomas. Oh, I like watching woo. I woo watch with the best of them. I can't wait to watch more woo with Kate Thomas. Hello, Kate.
Hello, Richard.
It's wonderful to be back in your studio.
Well, how much better is my studio looking now I've got all this wonderful kit?
Oh, my goodness me. You've upgraded.
You've upgraded me.
I have. We've and thanks too, of course, to the generosity of Skeptic Zone listeners out there, I was able to give Kate a lovely little microphone to begin with, to begin your podcasting journey.
Yes.
But now you're branching out and you've got the real gear.
Thank you. Now I'm professional.
You are.
Well,
It's great. Now, it's really nice to be here, and I'm so happy to have been able to give you some guidance.
thank you. Thank you. And thank you for coming out in the rain.
Yeah, it's pouring.
Pouring.
Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, the drains were flooding all over Sydney, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend says lovely weather for ducks.
That's what my grandfather used to say.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. It's a sweet saying, isn't it?
It's lovely. But we're not here to talk about ducks, or maybe quackery in a strange sort of way.
I like it.
There's what do they call that? That's the
segue.
The segue.
That's
Thank
the
you very
segue.
much. We're here to talk about something which I didn't consider until you floated the idea past me.
You're welcome.
Stretching.
Mm.
What's wrong with innocent old stretching? I mean, I've been to lots of gyms. You know, all the gyms I've ever set foot in, people are stretching. I was told to stretch.
There's a lot of stretching.
Get there and do your exercises and stretch.
Mm.
And people say it, and here's a new term for me, people say it helps reduce DOMS. And I've only just very recently learned, that stands for something onset muscle soreness. Delayed, thank you.
Delayed onset muscle soreness. So that's that feeling that you get the day after, or maybe even 72 hours after.
Ooh.
You've done leg day at the gym, or perhaps you've gone and done your hill runs and you've been running up and down hills and you're then unable to do the stairs or sit down onto a chair. Or,
I know that feeling.
I love that feeling actually.
You
but
love that?
I do.
know that. Oh, yeah.
I do love that feeling, but that's what DOMS refers to. And there's certainly something that I'm sure I was told. I'm not going to say it's an old wives' tale because that would be terribly mean to old wives, but there's a myth that stretching reduces the severity of DOMS. And? Well, so they actually studied it. There's actually been a Cochrane review and they studied whether or not on a pain scale and it turned out it was reduced soreness by about 1 to 2 millimeters on a 100 millimeter pain scale. So not significant insofar as that you wouldn't feel any difference.
Well, if stretching doesn't prevent soreness, what actually causes DOMS?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, it's to do with eccentric exercises. So think down in the squat or pounding down a hill if you're running, or anything where the load is being felt in the eccentric movement. And you get actually tiny little disruptions, tiny little tears in the muscle fibers, and that causes inflammation, and then that causes pain.
I was just about to relate a story. Some years ago, I took part in the most Wuthering Heights Day. You know, this day where everyone dresses up in red. And so I turned up there in, I think it's Sydney Park in the inner west. And we practiced for about a full hour doing the whole routine again and again and again. And I danced with everybody. And the next day I could barely get out of bed. I was so sore.
That's right. And that's because you haven't trained that movement.
No.
And your body's not used to that movement. And so you've just given yourself little tiny micro injuries in your muscles. And it's how you get stronger, but it's also what causes the pain.
But does that have anything to do with lactic acid? Because we've all been told we need to flush out the lactic acid. Where does that idea come from?
Lactic acid is it's a classic phrase that gets thrown around in gym classes. If you've ever been to a gym class, then no doubt somebody has said to you, and now you need to flush out that lactic acid. And the thinking behind that's about 1,000 years old now. It was because when you do intense exercise, your body produces lactate, and for a long time scientists thought that the buildup of lactate was what caused the soreness, but actually they now know that lactate is cleared from your muscles within about 30 to 60 minutes. So the DOMS, which is that delayed onset of muscle soreness, occurs 24 hours later up to 72 hours later. It can't be caused by lactate because the lactate's been reused by your muscles or turned back into glucose via metabolic pathways well before.
So when people say, let's go for a light jog to flush the lactate, what's wrong? That's wrong, right?
Well, that's sort of partially true. And you can go for a light jog within that 30 to 60 minute period, and that will actually increase your body's ability to remove the lactate because you're increasing blood flow and you're increasing the energy that your muscles need. So that part is true, but what's not true is that the lactate causes the DOMS. So going for a short light jog after your workout to flush lactate is sort of okay thinking, but so long as you know that that's not going to in any way affect your recovery.
So then why does, for example, light movement sometimes feel better after a hard session?
Yeah, well, because you are moving and you're warming up those muscles again, and you are improving your so you're breathing, and you're also moving the stiffness out of those muscles and joints. So that's why the perception of it feels better.
Well, then why should we bother stretching at all, I wonder?
That is a good question, and I should do more stretching. Well, I'm not saying don't stretch. I'm not anti-stretch. I'm certainly not anti-stretch because stretching is important for range of movement, absolutely. And there's a lot of benefit to improving and increasing your range of movement. So absolutely, I can see everybody in the emails saying she's anti-stretch. I'm not anti-stretch. I just want you to understand that if you're stretching in a way that you think is going to make your muscles feel less sore, I'm really sorry. It's not working.
We can say the claims for stretching have been stretched a bit.
They've been stretched. Good joke. I like it.
But then what can we do? What actually does reduce DOMS?
Yeah, so this is really boring. This is a really boring answer. You just have to get stronger. So you have to do things gradually. You have to work on your strength.
Yeah.
And then you need to eat appropriately and get enough sleep. Yeah.
As boring as that is, it sounds quite sensible.
It's very sensible. So it's low-grade woo this week, Richard. I would say it's gentle woo. It's not dangerous. It's not predatory. It's just a little bit of outdated physiology.
I can accept that. And now I know better. Next time I go wuthering about the mountains
Yes.
or something like that, at least I'll have a better understanding.
And just see you in a red flowy dress.
We'll talk about that later. Kate Thomas, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Bye.
Hi, I'm Leslie Rosenblood, host of Podcast for Inquiry, the official podcast of the Centre for Inquiry Canada. Every 2 weeks, I bring you a conversation with an expert on some complex subject, which we discuss with intelligence and nuance. The goal is that you come away with more than just a surface-level understanding, as well as an appreciation for a genuine spirit of inquiry. If your intellectual curiosity extends to science, religion, philosophy, economics, humanism, politics, and more, subscribe to Podcast for Inquiry today, available anywhere you get your podcasts. A video form is also available on YouTube on the Centre for Inquiry Canada's channel. I look forward to welcoming you to the inquiring community.
A few nights ago, here in Sydney, we had Sydney Skeptics in the Pub, the monthly meetup of skeptics who come together, have a few drinks, have a nice dinner, and be entertained or hear a talk, learn how to bend a spoon. And this time, we had a trivia night, 60 trivia questions based on skepticism, general knowledge, and a few brain teasers. But before we got to the trivia, hosted by Lara, Benham and myself, the president of Australian Skeptics, Jessica Singer, took a moment to acknowledge a long-time skeptic here for the Australian Skeptics, Ian Bryce, who was the challenge coordinator for many, many years. Now, Ian has decided to step down from the committee after, well, I guess 45 plus years of service to the Australian Skeptics.
Now, before we proceed, I would also like to acknowledge someone else who's here, and it is a committee member who recently stepped down, and that is the famous Ian Bryce. Stand up there. Now, Ian has been part of the Skeptics since before Richard and I were born. And he is an absolute stalwart. He's been to so many committee meetings, more than he's had hot dinners. He's really contributed to the magazine and to the Australian skeptical movement. And for years, he's also been the challenge coordinator. So when we have people who put up their hand for the $100,000 prize that we hold, Ian has been the first port of call to, along with Tim, assess the claim, and if they proceed so far, which they don't, but Ian has been Ian's been responsible for helping design the test and set up the testing protocols. So, Ian, thank you for everything. We will miss you.
Kindly.
Yes. Big round of applause for Ian.
Thank you, Ian, for your dedicated service to the skeptical movement. Then it came time for the trivia night. Now, what I'd like to do now is play just some highlights, a few questions and a few bits and pieces from the night, really to give you a flavour of what fun it is. What a great time everybody had. A relaxed atmosphere, silliness, lots of nice company and conversation, and a great fun night playing trivia. Okay, this is the halfway through round one. We'll get right to the end of the round before we score the round. But in this halfway point, there's a free drink on offer. What was the name of the ranch in the TV? No, it's okay. Everybody. There are words to that, you know. There's Lauren Green sang the song. Did you? You probably you probably know that. Okay. This is a Who Am I? I'm going to read out bits of. It's me. Who am I? Richard. You got it right. I'm going to read out clues.
Is this number 11?
No, this is the halfway break. This is halfway. This is for a free drink.
Halfway in this one.
Now, if you
do we put our hand up when we yell out?
yeah, okay. What I want you to do is, if you think you know the answer, put up your hand. Lara, keep an eagle eye out. If you get the wrong answer, nobody else on your team can then proceed. So it's pretty tough. But if you're pretty sure you know what it is, okay, here we go. Who am I? I was born in 1911 in Illinois. I went by the nickname Dutch in my early years. I was a lifeguard between terms when attending school. I later became a radio announcer. In 1940, I married actress Jane Wyman.
Yes. Ronald Reagan.
Is the correct answer. Give that man a free drink. Okay.
Question 3. What was the name of the flying pig logo and badge used by James Randi? So what was the name of the flying pig logo and badge used by James Randi? Question 4. What is the name of the celestial event that occurs when a planet or a moon passes between a star and an observer on Earth? So I'll repeat that. What is the name of the celestial event that occurs when a planet or moon passes between a star and an observer on Earth? Question 6. Charles Darwin was born on the same day as which United States president? So Charles Darwin was born on the same day as which US president? Question 7. Oh, sorry, did you need...
Day of the year or...
No, we want the name of the president.
Yeah, but I mean, when born on the same day, you mean...
Exactly the same day, same year. Yeah, sorry. Question 7. What is the southernmost capital city of a country in the world? What is the southernmost capital city?
All right, now. The winning table will get a wonderful bottle of wine from the bar and a packet of jelly beans. How about that?
Richard, can we do the scores per capita?
What? All right. Coming in with a respectable 5th place. Senior. And that was a score of 29. In 4th, with a score of 39, we have polarizers. Well done. In 3rd place, with a score of 40, we have Knowledge D. In 2nd place, with a score of 45, we have the placebos. The winner tonight with a score of 48 and a bottle of wine and jelly beans, Bonanza!
Thank you very much.
Well, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to Lara and Richard for such amazing mind-bending questions, as promised, from spoon bending, which is Richard's normal specialty, to mind-bending. and being such great quizmasters. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We hope please come back next month, the first Thursday of every month, right here at the Occidental Hotel. And don't forget to tune into the Skeptic Zone podcast if you like podcasts. And don't listen to Tim Mendham. Thank you.
Nothing like a bit of self-promotion. Thank you, Richard and Lara.
Thank you to everybody who turned up to do Sydney Skeptics in the Pub, the trivia night. And that's just a taste, I think. Just a taste to whet your appetite from what you might expect at Noticon, coming up in July this year here in Sydney with the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. There'll be all sorts of things like that, all sorts of interaction, all sorts of games, all sorts of puzzles, all sorts of wonderful things. Lots of special guests, including our very own Dr. Karl Kruszelnicki. To find out more about Noticon, coming up in June, just head to skepticzone.tv, scroll down on the right side of the page, and you'll find the link. And if you'd like to join us at the next Sydney Skeptics in the Pub, I'll add a link in this week's show notes for the meetup group. That's where you can register and find out about upcoming events.
G'day, Dr. Karl here, popping up on your beloved Richard Saunders podcast, inviting you to follow me on TikTok where things are much faster. And it all has to happen in a minute or less. So why do diet drinks get you drunker? For example, a rum and diet cola versus a rum and regular cola. Why do we hear the ocean in a seashell? Is coffee good or bad for you? With regard to farts, what happens when you hold them in, and why do farts smell worse in the shower? And the old wooden spoon, as used in cooking, does have a very porous surface, so in terms of bacteria, is it safe to use? And of course, we all know that destiny shapes our ends, but so do the natural electrical fields that we generate, and marijuana munchies might be related to a 500 million-year-old mutation that makes eating enjoyable via our natural cannabinoids that our body makes. Just follow me on TikTok at Dr. Karl, DRKARL, to find out the answer to all these questions and more.
Now it's time to go back to those archives, no matter where they are, around the world, especially at TROVE, at trove.nla.gov.au, and we're going to be looking at chakras. Now, you've probably heard the term. You've probably seen those pictures at Mind Body Wallet or whatever of somebody sitting in the lotus position, a silhouette, and various coloured blobs going down their body from their head to their somewhere. And each of these blobs of colour represents a so-called chakra or energy centre. Chakras originate in some ancient cultures like spiritual traditions from India, particularly early tantric and yogic texts. The commonly referenced 7 chakras, blob, 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 is a relatively recent invention. It's more readily digestible for Western audiences. It looks interesting. The popular colour scheme of red through violet appears to be a 20th century invention, overlay influenced by Western occultism and theosophy. They are said to be energy centers, and you will often hear the claim that this practice or this modality will clear your chakras or unblock your chakras, whatever that means. And what I find interesting when I go to Mind Body Wallet festivals and people are talking about chakras or healing chakras or what have you, the merest suggestion that chakras are simply a fiction is incomprehensible to them. They simply assume that these things are a fact. Oh, it'd be like going to a conference on astronomy and saying to the astronomers there that, oh, you do realize that planets are simply made up. They're not really there at all. Well, that's the sort of reaction you'll get from people at New Age festivals when you suggest to them that chakras are simply made up. What is true is claims about chakra energy lack a clear definition in physics. No measurable electromagnetic, thermal, or other physical field has been detected in corresponding areas of chakras, so you can't use any instrument whatsoever and wave it over the body and say, aha, your throat chakra should be a slightly more shade of yellow than it is. You must have a blockage in your foot, or whatever other nonsense they come up with. Devices marketed to measure chakra energy, like aura cameras, for example, generally rely on indirect input such as skin conductance and not actual energy centers, or they're just made up to produce pretty colors. And there's a whole subsection here of people who are scammed into buying so-called aura cameras, who then go on to directly or indirectly scam other people. Now, why some people think their auras are blocked, mainly because people tell them. The placebo effect can be very powerful here. Somebody comes in thinking they're a bit lackluster. They sit down in front of a practitioner who they think is real. They wave their hands around and say, this particular aura is blocked. We're going to unblock it. Unblock, unblock, unblock. Wave your hands around, hum, chant, ring bells, or do whatever they do. And for many people, that's enough to make them feel a bit better, like something has actually been done. So if somebody spends time with you, listens to you, is concerned, and there's a ritual around you, combined with you being relaxed, maybe a bit of meditation, it's not surprising that people report feeling better. But it's important to note that claims such as being able to alleviate bodily problems in reality are simply not valid. Chakras are commonly used at mind-body wallet festivals, mind-body spirit, where you will see chakra displays and people waving their hands around seated people. And the claim is that they are balancing or unblocking their chakras. And those of us who sometimes take a tongue-in-cheek attitude towards things might come along and say, well, I wonder if you could remove all my chakras, please. They seem to be nothing but problems. They're always blocked. They're always unbalanced. So if we could just take them out, like you'd take out a bad tooth, that would be great. Now, according to possibly more modern interpretations, the chakras are as follows. The crown chakra, which is purplish in color, sits on the top of the head. The third eye chakra, a little bit more darker bluish, purplish color, sits, between the eyes or just above the eyes. The throat chakra, which is blue, is in the region of the throat, as that might suggest. The heart chakra, green for some reason. The solar plexus chakra is about halfway between the belly and the chest, somewhere there, and that's yellow. The sacral chakra, lower down in the body, according to this silhouette of somebody sitting in the lotus position, is, what shall we say, an orangey color. And the root chakra, the base of the spine, one would presume, is red. And a random look here on photographs and images on Google search. Let's see now. The crown chakra deals with cosmic energy. Now you know. And is blocked by ego attachment. Okay. The next chakra down, what was it? The third eye chakra deals with insight and is blocked by illusion. That's ironic. And we have now the throat chakra. It deals with truth, but can be blocked by lies. What's next? The heart chakra deals with love. but is blocked by grief. Good grief. The solar plexus chakra deals with willpower, but is blocked by shame. Well, that's a shame. And the sacral chakra deals with pleasure, but is blocked by guilt. Well, we don't want any of that. Lastly, the root chakra deals with survival, but can be blocked by fear. The burden of proof about chakras existing at all lies solely with the people making those claims, invisible energy centers affecting health. That requires strong evidence to be validated. And to date, of course, that evidence is lacking. But let's dive into the newspapers and see if we can find any references at all to chakras. And the first port of call when we go to Trove at trove.nla.gov.au and we type in the word chakras comes from Tharunka. And this was published in 1984 on the 6th of March. And Tharunka was a student magazine published in New South Wales, this is the state I'm in, at the University of Technology, and was founded in 1953. It has since changed its name and is now called Gamamary. Oh, I'm just reading here. It was shut down in 2023. But actually, I think it still exists in one form or another. Anyway, the point is it's a student magazine. But this simply takes the form of a short verse published here by Luke Davis. Walking Invisible 2. Estova sent chocolate wheels over the hill and fast-spinning chakras through the pines, walking invisible on the camera's lens, and children on dragonflies by the castle. Frolic the violet air, and all of this we sigh, and the lunar fringe stirs memory. Yes, okay, a little verse there. And now we have another student magazine, this time from the Australian National University, and it's called Woroni, W-O-R-O-N-I. And this takes the form of another verse. And this is by Annie Tiamat and was published in 1977 on the 28th of March. Platitudes of mysticism. Snake-like, the groping hand twists among the lily stalks. Willingly the green stems yield, causing eager blooms to blush. Hidden, secure, the reptile fist closes, while in the circle of its palm, sweet clear beads of vital sap, as 7 sprays are doomed to crush. With the wisdom of their guilt, painfully the flowers wilt. From earthbound bud to leaf, now must the new life spring. For shrunken chakras cannot seed to set those plants free in the wind. And that's something we can all contemplate. And turning once more to the pages of Tharunka, this time from 1991 on the 6th of August. A little bit of a lengthy article, so we'll try to get to the points in question here. It says, crystals, gemstones, and other slow vibration creatures. As we all know, the citizens of Atlantis were a highly evolved and enlightened race. Being such as they were, it is still a mystery why they disappeared. I mean, couldn't they have saved themselves? It makes one think that perhaps they were not as pure and enlightened as we all believe. And furthermore, but I digress. So, we were up to the Atlanteans, and how, being near perfect as they were, they used all the techniques available to them to lead a good life. And one of those techniques was being friends with stones. Yes, my dearies, stones. Well, if you want to be finicky about it, crystals, gemstones, and all such. I wonder how serious this article really is. Let's skip a little bit here and get to mentions of chakras. Later on it says, what? Vibrations? Oh, sorry. Vibrations are what we all emit from our energy centers, the chakras. This raises the metatransphysical question of whether low vibration beings possess chakras. This is a very interesting and much debated issue. Strong evidence from the latest research seems to support Chakrayan theorists who say that every being has a chakra, even if only a very tiny one. The vibrationalists' argument, however, is that chakras need a certain amount of energy for their formation. If the vibration is too low, a chakra cannot be formed. But this is all academic debate. While my purpose here, as I am being reminded by our not too centered, I must say, editor, tends to be practical. And that story goes on. I think it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It talks about crystals and power and smoky quartz. What's this? Garnet. So it's more to do with crystals, but an interesting little mention there of chakras. And again, I don't think this article was intended to be taken too seriously. Now let's go to the Observer Reporter from the United States, dated the 16th of April, 1989. And this comes from Washington, Pennsylvania, and could be yours for 50 cents. The New Age is all the rage. In store, McLean's new book and more. And this, of course, refers to Shirley MacLaine, a well-known proponent of the New Age. She's back, the queen of the New Age, the priestess of past life regression, and Hollywood star who popularized the paranormal. Get the picture? Shirley MacLaine, who went out on a limb with her last book and earned all those titles. And a few more, depending on who's talking, is just out with Going Within, a guide for inner transformation. $18.95 from Benham. The theme this time is more down to earth with an extraterrestrial. How to reduce stress. And because this is the late 80s, there is, of course, a companion video version in a workout from Vestron, $29.98. Not surprisingly, MacLane's formula for the stressed out is a bit more than a hot bath and a cup of chamomile tea. Her technique, based on an Indian tradition, focuses on, here it comes, the chakras, the, quote, wheels of spinning energy, end quote, that make up our physical bodies. To function optimally, chakras need to be aligned through concentration, visualizing each chakra's color, and humming. What happens if they're askew? Stand back. When MacLaine feels, quote, distorted, end quote, elevators and other electrical equipment malfunction around her. Really? Well, let's hope she doesn't fly on commercial aircraft too often. Also new on the ever-mutating New Age front, tune in to brain tuning, aimed at uniting the left and right halves of the brain so your logical and intuitive sides are synchronized. It involves various gizmos, including goggles with flashing lights and headphones for piped frequencies. Brain researchers remain skeptical, but adherents swear by it, says New York stock analyst Arch Crawford. It's like tuning up the cylinders of the brain so they fire in order. Take a dip with dolphins. Quote, dolphins interact with people as people, end quote, which gives humans a new perspective, says Ari Keefe, a New York psychiatrist who conducts stress reduction workshops with dolphins. Delano Training Systems of Pittsburgh, North Carolina, is offering dolphin camps this month and next. Call 1-800-451-2148 and ask to speak to Flipper. Get crystal powered all day with jeans from Chi Pants of Santa Cruz, California. They have a small crystal sewn into the seam. $39 to $54. And that article is by Stephen Ray. stand any more chakras at the moment. As I said before, I would like mine removed. If they're always getting blocked or they're never quite in balance, well, I just can't see the point of them. Yes, let's chuck the chakras away. Chakras, New Age, energy colours, all sorts of things are waiting for you to discover, explore, and have a good snigger when you go to Trove at trove.nla.gov.au, or even today, we went to Trove and we went to Google Newspapers, another good source of information, because when you go there, you never know what you might find. Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast, and thank you to all those wonderful people who support the show via PayPal or Patreon. Without you, as you well know, the show would not continue. So thank you. It gives me something to do every day, compiling this show, doing all the edits. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I do all the edits for the show. It's produced on an iPad using an application called Ferrite. And I get no kickbacks, I get no sponsorship deals, nothing. I've bought the program outright, but I do recommend it. And recently, I know that Kate Thomas, in fact, has been using Ferrite to edit her own podcast. There's a little bit to get your head around, but it's pretty good. Coming up on next week's program, I think we're going to get a report from Canada about a ghost hunt. Did you know supposedly there are Canadian ghosts? Really, they're very polite. They say, boo, sorry, did I scare you? Sorry. Very polite ghosts. I think Kat McLeod can tell us more, hopefully next week. Also, of course, speaking of Canada, we'll have the Australian Skeptics newsletter read by Adrian Hill from Skookum Studios in Calgary, Canada. And I'm sure we'll have some other reports coming your way. But for this week, from Muggy, Sydney, Australia, this is Richard Saunders signing off.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for episodes and show notes with links going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone on Facebook, X, TikTok and YouTube by clicking the links at our homepage, together with links to support the show financially via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of the Skeptic Zone podcast or any other skeptical organisation.
All right. Hello to the people who listen after the music for the dice game. You might remember a couple of weeks ago we played the dice game and I got 3 out of 3. In fact, I've still got the bit of paper here I used to play the game. It was a 7, a 10, and a 9, all in order. So let's see. Can lightning strike twice? I have to wonder. Going to roll 4 rolls. It's a D10, 10-sided die, and I'm going to guess in advance 8, 2, 5, of course, and 1. There we go. So the first roll coming up, and you can use your psychic powers or whatever, luck, or whatever you'd like to do. First roll coming up, it's a D10. It's a 5. Take heart, Susan Gerbic. We rolled a 5. Okay, next one. Roll number 2. I predicted a 2. Let's see what it is. Here it comes. It's a 5. Happy, Susan? Right. Those 2 5s in a row. Roll number 3. I predicted a 5. I bet it won't be a 5 this time. And here it comes. It's an 8, which I predicted for roll 1. This is ridiculous. Supplementary, the last roll. Here it comes. I predicted a 1. An 8. I really should be videoing these. In all reality and all truthfulness, well within the range of possibilities, we have 5, 5, 8, and 8. Make of that what you will.